What's up, guys? So you're live with me now for Astronomy Hour. Bringing you mainly this one's going to be focused on solar eclipses in the next sort of 5 years. Going to be focusing on them just to show you what's going to be actually happening as well, eclipse-wise. So fair few good eclipses actually that are expected to come up in the near future. I believe that it's really 2018 is going to be the best year for eclipses. Quite a few good partial eclipses throughout that year. So I'm just pulling up all the data now on the eclipses in the next few years. It seemed to close on me earlier for some reason, which is quite annoying. My computer doesn't seem to like me today. But yeah, well, just getting by, and we had some technical difficulties in an earlier show, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that doesn't happen tonight. Well, at the moment, even, sorry. So the eclipses I'll be covering are from 2016 through until 2021, which is the next 5 years worth of eclipses. So I'll get right off the bat with the first of the eclipses, which is the next one, which will be happening in exactly 100 days' time. The official countdown has it at 100 days, 3 hours and 17 minutes. So I'll show you guys the animation of the eclipse. I'm just pulling it up onto the screen share now. Can you guys see my screen? Craig or David?
Yes.
You can see my screen? Okay. So this is the animation of the 8th/9th of March 2016 eclipse. So here we go. There's totality there. And now the animation of the eclipse is ending. Looks though to be quite an interesting eclipse. You can span off, see where span it off. So, oh nope. Need to bring that back. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that one. Sorry, I accidentally just turned it off. So I'll show you guys the path of the eclipse throughout the day. Oh, what's going on there? Yeah, this is the animation of the eclipse path. You can see the time there. So that is the animation there. So as you can see, quite an interesting eclipse. And I'll probably be watching some live streams from Indonesia on that one. So also next year we get a penumbral lunar eclipse here. If you guys can see, not really that much to be hyped about. Comes after the solar eclipse, same month actually, full moon there. But normally what happens after a solar eclipse, there is normally a lunar eclipse. A lot of the time, it's quite regular for that to happen. It's quite rare for actually not to happen, if I'm honest. So that's the animation there of that eclipse. And you can see just the animation here. So you're going to see the penumbral lunar eclipse. So personally, the UK will not see it. They might see parts of it actually. I think just at the start. I don't know. I don't think so. No, they don't. So then now we move on to the 1st of September 2016 annular solar eclipse, which you can see here. This annular solar eclipse is quite close to total solar eclipse. It's quite a small annularity in it. If I'm honest, you see it goes quite dark as well. It's quite a small annularity around it, and you see that's the animation of the eclipse ending there. You see the eclipse there ending. So go off there and we'll look at the animation of the annular solar eclipse. This is what the so here we go. Here's it's coming up now. Come on, there we go. You see the annular solar eclipse passes right through Madagascar, moving off and then dispersing over the central Indian Ocean. Starting to come into daytime in the Antarctic there when that happens. So now we move on to the last eclipse of 2016, which is the 16th of September penumbral lunar eclipse. It's kind of really only fair that we get penumbral lunar eclipses after having quite a nice total lunar eclipse in September this year. You see, actually, that does get quite close to partial, but not close enough. There's still quite a good penumbral lunar eclipse, though. So I find that one quite interesting as well. I just it comes up and fluctuates up and down really. As to where like the eclipse comes from. Sometimes you can get penumbra, the top of the penumbra on the moon, and not the bottom. But a lot of the time it's the bottom of the penumbra of the Earth. So this is the 11th of February 2017 penumbral lunar eclipse. This one does get really, really close, but just not close enough. So it just moves off there. Speed that one up. But yeah, a lot of areas do see it. So yeah, so that's the 11th of February 2017 eclipse, and then this is the 26th February 2017 annular solar eclipse. Here you go, guys. This could be borderline hybrid, if I'm honest. Looks though it could be borderline hybrid. Also, just put in the comments to the right, just say, on Hypo World, do you guys think we should have a moon that can produce solar eclipses? And also, how often do you think they should occur if you do? You see the dot of annularity as well is quite small. Which is quite interesting there. And now we move on to the August 7th/8th partial lunar eclipse, which the UK does get to see part of. You see that just ending there. This is the animation of the eclipse. So the UK does get to see a little bit of it at the end penumbral stage. If the eastern side of Australia, no, sorry, western side of Australia, seeing all of the eclipse there. So Jason, you lucky bugger. um, so yeah, yeah, you're a lucky bugger, Jason. So then that partial lunar eclipse is followed by, on the 21st of August 2017, a total solar eclipse. You can see the animation coming up here, guys. So I did share an eclipse with you guys last night, but I will show you guys again because I did find this one quite interesting. I'll show you at the end of the show. Which is one that occurred on the 11th of July 1991. I'm going to show you guys that eclipse possibly again because that was quite interesting, if I'm honest. You can see clips there. So, yeah, and also the all of the Arctic get to see a partial stage at one point of the eclipse. Yeah, you see there, it's in the Arctic, which is quite interesting. And then on the 31st of January 2018, we see a total lunar eclipse. And also, it actually, if you see, it completely skips out the UK, which is quite annoying too. It actually completely skips the UK out. And it's during the blooming winter as well. See there? I'll put in the full animation for you guys. It's just quite annoying that it misses us. It's really annoying. See that there, just coming across. And the eclipse ends there. The animation is just coming up now, guys. That is really annoying though that we can't see it. And again, you, Jason, get to see the whole bloody thing. Pretty much. David. You two are lucky buggers. You're going to see loads of eclipses. I think you're getting part of the total solar eclipse in March next year. So here we go in 2018. This is in Antarctica. Partial solar eclipse on the 15th of February. And see, there's the eclipse that's ended. So then here's the Here's the animation here. Quite an interesting one, actually. And now we go to a very, very partial solar eclipse, actually, in July 2018. It's coming up now. Looks though, do you guys think that could have been a really big total solar eclipse at max degree? Put in the comments and see what you guys think. If one of you, either David or Craig, could keep tabs on the comments and tell me. Okay. Look at the animation of this eclipse. That's it. And then the 27th/28th of July, 2018. We got the total lunar eclipse. Very good total lunar eclipse, actually. Pretty much getting central umbra in the eclipse. Just seeing that. It's quite a big total lunar eclipse. Pretty much all set like central, more or less. It's quite nice. So I'll stop that now. And we'll see the animation of the lunar eclipse as well. Very much in the Northern Hemisphere summer, so the UK doesn't really get to see much of this. Possibly just about get the tail end of the totality stage. Just towards the end of totality. Just looking at the map. It's the third shade in. Hang on, third shade in. Actually, no, I don't think we do. Actually, no, yes, we do. Some of the total phase is visible. Some of the total stage is visible. This is part of total, partial, and penumbral phases. So if you guys want to see this eclipse, like the whole thing, it'll be in Antarctica, as well as most of Eastern Africa and the Middle East, as well as India and Central Asia as well, and parts of Russia. And also, I think it's the outer two as well. We'll get to see it. So most of West Africa as well will see the eclipse, and parts of Europe, and also Sweden and Finland, areas like that. And also Western Australia will also see most of the total. See most of the total phase. Partial and total phases are visible, though it'll miss the end part of the penumbral phase, because it would come down to morning then. So quite an interesting eclipse actually as well. Getting very big totality there for quite a sustained period of time. Believe it's I think that it's good quite a few hours. I think. Uh, yeah, it's between well, it's 2 hours, around hour and a half, sort of. But yeah, looks to be quite a nice eclipse. Look forward to as well. And now we move on to the August the 18th, 11th of August even, 2018, sorry. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm quite tired at the moment, but we get through it. It's a partial solar eclipse on August the 11th, 2018. Looks like I think it's another Antarctic one from the looks of it. It's just the eclipse pretty much ending there, just rush it through. Standard. I know it's an Arctic one. It's an Arctic eclipse. It's quite interesting. But yeah, looks as though a lot of it will take place. Just looking now. Okay, it's quite an interesting eclipse there actually. Um, so yeah, parts of the UK will see this eclipse. Only the north part of Scotland, I believe, will just about see the eclipse. It's good for you, Craig. It'll only be really partial though, I think. Craig, you here? Craig, you here? Uh, yeah, I'm just looking at the 2018 solar eclipse. Actually, no, it's not total. Actually, no, it's the very northern part of Scotland. Then that will see that eclipse. Okay. Anyways, so this is a quite a short-lived eclipse as well. In January 2019, where it looks as though this one. Although Nathan, do you think that this would be annular if it got to its max degree? Looks as though this. I think saying to the guys also watching, do you guys think that the 6th of January 2019 solar eclipse would have been an annular or total? What do you guys think? I know what it is. I just want to see what you guys think that it could be. You see? So annular or total? What do you guys think? There's quite a short-lived eclipse as well, because through its entire phase, sun rises and sets as well, which I find quite interesting. It's northern hemisphere winter, so it is probably going to be a short-lived one if it is in the northern hemisphere. And here's the animation of the eclipse. There we go, guys. So now looking at 20 and 21st of January 2019 total lunar eclipse. I'm going to just fast track these now to allow for a little bit more time just to general discussion and talk with the other guys. So that's the January 2019 lunar eclipse, and here's the animation of it. So it just ends as the UK comes into daylight. It's kind of like the one this year as well, actually. But anyways, then in July 2019, we see a total solar eclipse, which I'll fast track this one as well. Quite a nice total solar eclipse. Obviously, total, not a possible hybrid. And actually, I don't know if any of you guys know, but a hybrid solar eclipse is when um, in some locations, a hybrid solar eclipse is where in some locations it can be seen as annular, and in some locations it can be seen as total. And I think it's just due to the equatorial distances and things like that between the Earth, Moon, and Sun. This is where the Earth bulges at the equator. It can appear to make a solar eclipse seem annular when it could be total as well. If it dips down or up into one of the hemispheres. Really only happens if the eclipse is also at equatorial location as well. That's the animation of that eclipse. Um, but yeah, Pacific eclipse there. A lot of the Pacific Islands probably looking forward to that now in 2019. 2nd of July, remember that date, write it in your diaries now. And then we also have quite a alright partial lunar eclipse here, guys. In July 2019 as well, following that solar eclipse in the Pacific. Just gonna fast track. Here's the animation of the eclipse and what locations we'll be seeing it. So yeah. And now this one is on Boxing Day 2019 in India. And also, I'm just gonna say this to people now. I showed this to my mate before, and he actually associated it with the tsunami, saying that something bad could happen during this eclipse, but it's not going to. I'm not going to make anyone worried. Nothing should happen. We can't predict that far in the future as well, but nothing bad is ever going to happen normally with eclipses. Just wear eye protection when you're that sounds wrong. I don't know. Just wear eye protection whilst watching the eclipse. So this is the animation of the annular solar eclipse here. There, look, nice one. Looks wouldn't be hybrid because that's still got quite some good considerable space around that. Though does look quite nice. And here's the animation of that eclipse. See there, passing through Indonesia, parts of Manila, not Manila, Philippines even, just passes, annularity just passes actually just south of the Philippines. And now we move into 2020 with a penumbral lunar eclipse. Not really that interesting. Most all these areas see it, you can see there. Only places that really don't see it are the Americas. Don't really actually see that much of it. Little part of New Zealand as well. And then 5th and 6th of June 2020, penumbral lunar eclipse as well. Southern Hemisphere, most of it, some hemispheres seeing that. Again, missing out the Americas. Parts of the UK will see it, and most of Africa, Australia, all of Australia will see that, and quite a considerable amount of Asia too. And then now we're moving on to the 21st of June 2020 annular solar eclipse, which is just on borderline total solar eclipse, which could actually be seen possibly as a hybrid solar eclipse. No, I don't know yet as to what will happen with that one, but it's quite impressive. That here's the animation of the eclipse. Passing just north of the Philippines there as well. But yeah, quite nice annularity there. I do believe that could actually be total. Or It could be a total solar eclipse in some places. I don't know from what I can see, though. That one's debatable, if I'm honest. That one is debatable. And now we're moving on swiftly. Please load. Here we go. This is penumbral lunar eclipse here. Not that interesting. See the map of where places will see it. Same with this one. Another penumbral. There's the areas we'll see. And here we go. Here's a total solar eclipse on the 14th of December 2020. Here's the animation of that eclipse. If you guys want to check out the eclipses, visit www.timeanddate.com/eclipse. And you should be able to find them on there. Just search time and date, and it should be in like the sun and moon drop down section, and just click eclipses. Bring that on. And here's the animation of the areas that will see this solar eclipse. I'll get to you guys in a minute, Craig and David. Feel free to comment on anything that I'm showing these guys if you'd like to. Or if you want me to find out what eclipses will happen in your area, I could search that up for you. And also search it up for any viewers watching. So here's their total lunar eclipse here. Just fast tracking it. It kind of actually looks like the one that Jason actually saw during... actually, here we go. Oh, what's this, Jason? Okay. Okay, I've just looked at your thing. But yeah, but Jason, doesn't this remind you of the lunar eclipse that you had in April this year? Does that remind you of it? Yeah. Quite reminded me of April's total lunar eclipse. Quite interesting. And then quite a big annular solar eclipse, actually. Quite a big area of annularity here. Just play the simulation now. Actually, just saying to you guys now, we do have some hyper world breaking news just coming through. If you want to put this on the headlines as well, Jason. We've just got the reconnaissance data back from Tropical Depression 34N, and that has now become Tropical Storm Theta. That's breaking news just now. So anyway, we'll get back to the show, the astronomy show, and this is the animation of the eclipse. Quite a nice Arctic one, actually. It's quite nice. And now we'll start to wrap up. Now this is almost. Oh, you seeing this? You seeing this, guys? Look how close this gets. Look. Look how close. Look how close that gets. You see that? Look how close that got. That is really close. That's close. No cigar though. And then finally, well, actually, I haven't shown you guys the. I meant to show you the animation. So most of all of the United States should see the eclipse, and actually, well, the max degree of it. And it ends. There you go. And then finally, the last eclipse that I'll be covering is the 4th of December 2020. 2021 eclipse before going back to 1991 to show you guys that one. But it's quite a nice total solar eclipse here. Quite a straightforward eclipse, if I'm honest. Pretty much comes through straight. You see, it comes through pretty much straight line, beeline. Quite nice. So nice to see a couple of them during the times. And then finally, I'm just going to cover this eclipse in 1991. I'll spend a little bit more time on. This is the animation of the, well, simulation even of the eclipse. It's quite interesting. So see what happens, guys. Okay, just saying to you guys in the call on Skype. What do you guys think? What do you guys think will happen next? I'm talking to Craig. Craig, you there?
Well, that's where you're basically supposed to tell us, because I ain't got a clue.
Well, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think it's going to go straight off that way? Just straight off the way that it was going?
I find that
Or do you
too
think
soon
it's
to
going to
call
curve
there, Michael,
around?
because it hasn't happened yet.
No, this one has happened actually. This was in July 1991.
Oh,
But do you think it's going to curve off that way? Do you think?
possibly.
No, but look what happens.
Yeah, no, it curves off.
No, it doesn't. Look. It turns around pretty much. Look, goes through. Look. Comes down. Goes back up the same way. Though there is actually a good explanation for this. It is due to that totality happened just at 90 degrees in altitude. So it was directly above, which then meant that the direction changed from east to west almost immediately. So which then the eclipse started to end. And then started going off that way, the same way that it came in. It's pretty much just logical with the directions. Okay. Anyways, so I'll just show you as well the partial, the best way to see it in Manzanillo, which in 1991. This is what Manzanillo saw in the eclipse. You see it curves back round, Craig.
Yep.
It's also during this eclipse as well. It's look how massive the moon is.
It's supermoon boats of that.
I think it is a supermoon solar eclipse. So if we go back to the actual eclipse page. Just see how big the moon is there. And be quiet, Nathan, because I know what Nathan's about to say. Just see how big the moon is, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so now we're gonna just wrap up with me talking because you've had to listen to my ugly voice for the last like hour. Well, no, half an hour even. But as you can see here, got all of current locations of the planets. I covered this last night. You can see that Siding Sprung is starting to leave. The solar system. Siding Spring, actually, I think that is. The Siding Spring. Egni is currently just on its pretty much furthest place from the sun. And 209p linear, I believe, is going out to then come back around. And it'll be back in the middle of the solar system in around about 2019. You could also see Pan-STARRS is also leaving the solar system, which won't be there with us for that much longer, leaving the gravitational pull of the sun. So some people are saying that Pan-STARRS could come back in the next million years. I find that quite unlikely, though. And Haumea, let's see its current location. It's discovered not that long ago in December 2004. It's the third closest dwarf planet from the Sun. And also the fastest spinning known large object in the solar system. Apparently, it says some people were saying that it has an average day of around about an hour. Also discovered in March 2005, Make. That was discovered just before the start of the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season. Also the third largest dwarf planet, just slightly smaller than and dimmer than that of Pluto. And apparently most of its surface is pure methane ice. Makes it appear reddish brown in colour. And actually they've said as well that I'm going to end my screen share as well quick. I'm just saying, Make, apparently its lack of variations in its brightness, it's difficult to determine the Make's mass density and also rotation period as well. Hang on. Actually, no, here we go. Apparently, according to this, Make has a rotation period of 3 hours and 54 minutes, though its solar orbit period is 283 years, which making an average year on Make around about, well, in association to days as well, round about an average Haumea year is going to be somewhat hang on, I'm gonna calculate it. Hang on. I'm just gonna calculate it. So you got 3. No, screw it. I could round up to 4 hours actually. You could get 6 days out of an Earth day. Are we still on music? Yeah. Am I still on the thing? Am I still on live? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm still on live stream. Just checking with Nathan. So I've just calculated it out now that an average Haumea year in the relative days is to make one Haumea year is 2,479,080 days. As an average Haumea year, which is quite a lot of days. So you'll see the sun 2 million times to make a year on Make. and also if you so I'm probably going to wrap up here now. Thank you guys for watching, and this is Mick out. And the next astronomy, actually just quickly saying as well, next astronomy hour will be the same time next week. See you later, guys.